Too bright, that's good.
No, we're good. All right, here we go. We live. All right. Uh Hello everyone. We welcome you to our progress where we infuse purpose, invigorate minds, and ignite change. All right. Hello everyone. Our topic today is seeing is believing. And so y'all can thank Jeffrey for this topic today. So y'all give him a hand clap. Hand clap for praise. So yeah, so we will get started into it. I'll kind of lead off and we gotta do the
So
introduction. I ain't did it in so long. I'm Terrence Johnson, the life excavator.
I'm Kendrick Bailey, life doctor.
And I'm Jeffrey Hart, the life champion.
All right. So you look, the floor is
Want to
yours,
jump on
Jeff.
in there, Terry.
No, it's Jeffrey. Jeffrey got the lead in. Don't be
No,
trying to
no, I'm
look.
saying, I said you wanted to jump on in there. You
Oh,
ain't want to intro.
Oh, he ready, man. He ready. But first off, for all of you all that's tuning in, we want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to come and listen to us, and hopefully um, we say something today that can be beneficial to you. If you catch a replay, we appreciate you. But yeah, we just thank all of you all for tuning in. But like I said, the topic today is seeing is believing, and it kind of came from I guess the inspiration of it came out of the topic that we had last Thursday. Title "I Don't Want to Grow Up." So if you haven't seen that one, go back and check it out. It was good. So one of the topics that we hit on was experience. And Terrence gave a story about how, sometimes he'll just get out, ride around, and, just see new things and try to experience new things. So I decided to give it a test on Friday. So got out, it was a nice day, nice, cool, sunny. So I'm just going to get out and ride around. So as I was riding around, I had the thought, I was like, I wonder if there's any $1 million homes in the area. So, and I don't recommend this. Don't research and drive. But as I was driving, I pull up the Zillow app and try to find $1 million home just to just go see and look. And sure enough, there was one. And so um, went drove through part of the city that I haven't seen before. So that was a new experience. Went into the neighborhood and just kind of experienced that, just to kind of see what that would feel like. Went, drove by the home, stopped, looked at it. you know it was nice. So once you do something like that, once you go and see something and you see that it's real, you can start to believe that it is real. So that's where the topic come from. Seeing is believing. So what that can do to you, once you see that it's possible, once you see something and see that it's real, now you can believe for yourself that it's attainable. So yeah, after doing that, having that experience and believing that that is possible. So now I'm like, okay, so what do I have to do to experience that for real? To to have that. So that's one aspect of seeing is believing, and also another way that you can look at it. Sometimes believing is seeing. So sometimes you have to believe things first in order for you to see it. So I'm sure that's something that we'll hit on as we get on deep into the discussion. But yeah, I just wanted to lead out with with that story is, you know, sometimes you have to go in order to believe that you can have something or do something or, you know, be something different. You have to see it first before you can believe it, and then that'll dictate your actions going forward. So I turn the floor over to whoever want to jump in next.
All right, so I'm gonna walk through a process, and this is something that y'all gonna start hearing more and more about from us. It's kind of like our principles. So what Jeffrey just talked about, he went through all the different phases of our principles. So from last week, it was talking about, you know, changing up your routine. That's what he kind of got from what I was saying. So that was the thing he was aware of. And so then once he became aware of that, he was like, okay, well, what can I do with that? That's something I feel like I need to do. So what do I do with that? So then he shifted into making the decision of, I'm gonna go ride, I'm gonna go find some house, like a house that represent kind of what I want to see. So then it went from a decision into alignment where he did go out and actually see it and saw the very thing that he was envisioning. And then now, you know, it's not necessarily the next steps, but is now finding things, resources, or people that can help lead him into that since he envisioned it. So that whole process is the process that we're trying to walk people through as well. So in order to see it, first you have to be aware of what you see now versus what you want to see. And that could be a big gap because we all have things that we want and we envision it in our mind, but we say, well, what I see right now don't match what I see in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And they get discouraged because like, man, that ain't never gonna happen because look, this happened this way. Look where I stay. Look at this. Look at my car. Look at all this stuff I got right in front of me, and it don't match this in my head. But the more you become aware, then you have to start making decisions that align to the thing that you want to do. If you don't make those decisions, then it's hard for you to see what you actually want to believe because what you're seeing is what is currently your situation, not will be your situation.
Okay. And so, yeah, Terrence just talked about the principles. He described it. You know, Jeffrey gave you a visualization of it. And these principles can be applied in all areas of your life. So we don't want you to think that they just apply to one thing. You know, it's pretty much, our progress model. I sometimes call it our progress model for change. We sometimes call it life change outcome. But you got to be aware of where you're trying to go before you can go, and then you got to be aware of what's of the barriers that's in your way from going there. And so, if people aren't aware, it's hard to make the shift or make the change because you have to gain insight and awareness to make the change you need. And then you also got to test out the change to see if it's working. So trying it one time and it doesn't work, well, you didn't give it enough, trial and error to see if it's applicable to your life. And so trying something one time, you don't have enough data to make an informed decision, like Terrence was talking about. And then, in order to get aligned with where you're trying to go, you got to have that informed data that informs your process. And then, like you said, establishing that community around you. So it's not just people that can pull you up, but it's also people that you can pour into. And so anything that you want to do in life, you gotta, go through those steps to get there. Just like if you were an artist and you wanted to create, the world's greatest art, well, you gotta first visualize, what you want to do. So that's the seeing piece. Because if you can visualize it, it don't necessarily mean that you have to tangibly see something to see it. You can see it in a dream. You can visualize it while they dreaming. You can see it on television. Somebody else can tell you their vision, and you can get the concept in your head. And so, seeing is believing doesn't mean that you tangibly or practically have to see. You know, seeing has multiple meanings if you look at it from different perspectives.
Mhm. All right.
And,
So yeah, we're gonna go the same place. Go ahead. Cause we're about to go the same.
I'm glad you said that because I forgot I had wrote down the definitions of see and believe, and I forgot to give it in the beginning. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it. And it ties into everything that Kendrick basically just said. So starting out the word see, that means to perceive by the eye, to be aware of, like we talked about in the principles, and also to imagine as a possibility and to form a mental picture of. So those are your definitions of the word see. And belief, an acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists, something one accepts as true or real, a firmly held opinion or conviction. So, like I said, I wanted to give that in my opening statement, but I got to roll it and forgot. All right,
It still works.
He about to go up another level.
So this is something that I told Jeffrey right before we got on, and I was thinking about it. So what if you can't see? What then do you need to go forward in your process? And one thing we were talking about right before then, because when I said it, when I kind of asked it, he was like, well, you got to rely on your other senses. And so one of the things that, and it's something that I had said before, I feel like I had got to a point in my life I couldn't see my next step, and I was like, I can't see it. I'm a big visual person. It's like that's kind of what guides my next steps. I can visualize the next steps, but one of the things that was hindering me seeing, or because I couldn't see it, the thing that I wasn't doing in addition to that was listening. So if you can't see, you gotta hear, because your hearing is the thing that will get you back on track. So then it made me think about, okay, so if I want to go somewhere, so just like what Jeffrey did, Jeffrey looked up the stuff, looked up the information, found the house he wanted. He had to go on Zillow, get the address, get the location, right? Because it was somewhere he didn't know, he had to listen to the directions to get there. So even if it's somewhere that I envision, if I don't listen, I can't get there. And once you listen, you got to visualize the very thing that you were looking for. And so sometimes you have to be able to listen in order to then get to the place where you can envision. And sometimes it's not necessarily just from directions like a GPS, but sometimes you got to get in a position to not see in front of you so you can listen to your own self, so you can recorrect yourself.
All right. So I wrote down 3 words. Well, more than 3 words. I wrote down perspective. I wrote down blurred vision, and then I wrote down foggy lens. So sometimes those things are the reason that we can't see from all those different, vantage points that we've been discussing, based on the definition and based on seeing and based on using, your 5 senses, because your 5 senses help you understand or process information so you can know where you are as well. And so, like Terrence was saying, if we can't see, we still can feel. And that tells us sometimes the texture of things. We can taste, that tells us, what's, what flavors are in our mouths. And like I said, we can hear, and hearing describes things for us too. And so we have to keen in or hone in on different our different abilities depending on what season we are in
Mhm.
to see or in order to believe, you know, because if you're distracted visually, then you got to tap into the other things that you know have, and so sometimes you have to take off the foggy lens um, to adjust your vision. Sometimes you have to clean out your glasses, so that means you got to remove the obstacles in your way, and sometimes you have to hear things from another person's perspective to uncloud what's you know maybe a barrier for your judgment or your vision.
Mhm. And let's see, I kind of had an example, and kind of like what T said earlier, like we were talking, before we got on live. He was like, okay, yeah, if you can't see, how can you, believe certain things? And that's when I, said you got to rely on your other senses. So example that I gave him was like, okay, I believe that Ruth Chris has the best steaks ever. And why do I believe that? It's because I've already tasted it.
Mhm.
So sometimes, and that goes back to the experience also. I've tasted it. I've had that experience of tasting the Ruth Chris steak. So now my belief is that they are the best. Out of all the other steaks that I've had, that's the best. So sometimes, just experiencing things by tasting it, experience things by hearing, that kind of starts to shape, the things that you believe. So like T was saying, if you can't see either physically or mentally, you have to rely on everything else to start to strengthen the things that you currently believe or that you are believing to happen.
Okay, so you linking some stuff together. All right, so I'm gonna go right with what Jeffrey just said. I'm gonna give a different angle to it. So Jeffrey was saying, okay, he believed Ruth Chris got the best steak because he tasted it. Now, if I haven't if I haven't experienced Ruth Chris yet, I'm just taking it on his word. But that's not from my experience. So you gotta look at it. A lot of times what we see is not really what we believe, is what people have told us to see and believe. Because if I never experienced that, I might not like steak. But because Jeff said Ruth Chris steak the best, I said, oh, okay, Ruth Chris got the best steak. But if I haven't ate it yet, I don't know what it might be dry to me. I don't know. But I haven't experienced it. So I can't say that. But I'm not I know it's not. But I'm not a steak person no way. But if they give me a pork chop or something like that, I'll be good. But so so this the other layer to it. It's about when Jeffrey went through the definition of see and believe, what we see and what we believe is based on our perception. And then going back to what Kendrick was saying, if we got, foggy lenses or something like that, what we see in reality can be blurry because it's clouded by our past experiences. So if you just like if you wear glasses and stuff, after a while they'll get dirty or they'll get to a point where you got to clean them up.
Mhm.
Well, if I'm continuously going through my day to day with my glasses so fogged up, and I'm just saying, well, I ain't got time, just whatever I'm looking at, that's just what it is right now. I'm not getting an accurate depiction of what's really in front of me. So sometimes the very thing that we really need is right in front of us, but we can't see it. Or you think about a car, your side view mirrors or whatever, and they had a little description saying like objects may appear and then they really are, you know what I'm saying? So we misjudge how close our past is to our present. I'm gonna say that again.
Yeah, say that again. Say that again.
I'm gonna say it again. Sometimes we misjudge how close our past is to our present. And so we would think that we've distanced ourselves from some things when we really haven't. And those are the things that are then hindering us from seeing as clearly as we should, because those are the things that are making us, just like you think about your windshield. Well, you know, if you drive on the interstate, it's gonna be things that crack that windshield over time and make cracks appear and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes you might only be able to see out of a portion of your full windshield because it's so many things that have dented your perspective. So sometimes, even though you don't want to and it's more expensive, sometimes you have to totally replace the whole windshield so you can see clear. So I'm gonna stop. So I'm gonna let y'all go.
Okay. Got 3 points. So I got 2 points. Experience shapes our process. Better is constantly being redefined. And the reason better is constantly redefined is what if we haven't experienced better? We've only experienced what we've been introduced to.
Okay, hold up. Say all 3 of them again, because say them again.
Mm-hmm.
So experience shapes our process.
Mm-hmm.
Better is constantly being redefined.
Mm-hmm.
And what if we haven't experienced the best because we hadn't been introduced to it?
Hold on, say the last part, because I think kind of broke up.
You said, what if you...
Go ahead, Jeffrey. You said.
Nah, you can say it better than I can.
I said, what if we hadn't experienced the best because we hadn't been introduced to it?
Okay.
Then that points to the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And as we go along our journey, better is constantly being redefined. Because if we're with the progressive process, and if we with our progress mindset, you're constantly finding new levels to your experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so your acquired taste, becomes bigger over time.
Mm-hmm.
So just like we say, what served you in one season may not serve you in another season.
Yeah.
What was great in one season may just be, minute in another season.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do me a favor, man. Say the last point again out of the 3 that you said again.
So what was great, and tell me what was great in one season?
Out of
from the 3 you
okay.
said.
What if we hadn't experienced the best, but because we hadn't been introduced to it?
Okay. So one thing that I thought about with that last point is, okay, once you do get introduced to better,
Mm-hmm.
your comfort zone changes.
Mm-hmm.
So once you experience something better, once you see something better or whatever, now when you go back to your original place, you don't feel comfortable no more. So constantly being introduced to better, it changes your comfort zone.
Okay, I'm gonna say this because I'm writing it down. I'm about to say it and like what you just said. So to summarize what you were saying, being better becomes your foundation and not your ceiling. Because once you get a taste for something, you want to then build off of that. Before, you didn't think better was achievable because it was so high. And so now you have a lot more room for better because now better is the expectation and not the limitation.
Okay.
And to kind of give another example of using your senses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. There's a particular brand of cologne that I found out about. So I ordered some samples and I tried it. I just put it like this: I cannot go back to department store cologne. Once you experience something better, once you smell something better,
Mm-hmm.
you can't go back to wearing the old stuff you used to wear when you was a teenager.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So, and that's what I was saying about your comfort zone. Like I can't just go and and just get some random stuff now. My sense of smell has changed. That experience has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So now, like I said, that is going back to the senses. Once you smell something better, you can't go back to the old thing. Like you can't. Like I'm close to Memphis. I haven't stayed in the Peabody yet, but it's just like staying in the Peabody. I can't go back to the Motel 6. That's something totally different. You know what I'm saying? So experiences.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna let Kendra go, but it just made me think about it. So you remember? I think it was 50 Cent. Then they have like a CD or song like "Hunger for More." When they him.
I don't know. I wasn't as big as 50 fans, so I can't tell you about that.
So, but it made me think about that. So it's like once you taste something, you create taste something that's better. It creates an appetite for it, and so your appetite would then lead you to make decisions on how you will continue that lifestyle, or you continue things that give you that same feeling. And so I think a part of that seeing is, and I think both of y'all talked about, is through the experience of it. So you kind of get a glimpse of it. It may not come right after that, but you get, so just like you go, so I'm gonna use Jeffrey example. So just like if you was in a department store and you want to, get you a new cologne, it's gonna be people that gonna give you testers for that, or they gonna spray like, let me try this one and try this, and you're like, I don't know about that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's the one. That's the one I want. And so sometimes it's that's what life does for us. It gives us tests of things to come.
Yeah.
And we might not be able to get the whole thing right then. Because sometimes your money might not be at the point of what you wanted right then. So I can't get the whole bottle. I might just get this sample one. Or let me get the gift set, the little trial version. It might have like 3 or 4 little bitty ones. And so I try that one. Then eventually I can get the one I really want, but I know now what that experience is because I had a test of
it. And kind of going off of that also, think about, and I wrote it down, Genesis 15:5, when God told Abram to go and look at the stars and imagine all of his, if he can count the stars, then he, hold on, let me pull it up. I want to quote it right now.
Yeah, go get the right.
Yeah. Let me quote it right now. I had it up earlier. So yeah. He said, all right, the Lord took him outside and said, look at the sky and try to count the stars. You will have as many descendants as that. So sometimes you have to go and, like you said, get that sample. You have to see it. You have to experience it before it actually happens. So, like I said, sometimes seeing is believing. Okay, I got to go see it. I got to go experience it. It may take a little while before it actually comes, but seeing it If I believe it, then it will happen.
So this is what I wrote after. So once you get a taste for better, you have an allergic reaction for something that devalues you. I repeat that. Once you get a taste for better, and David was hitting on points of it too. Once you get a taste for better, you have an allergic reaction for something that devalues you. So I don't want people to get that confused with bougie and better, because bougie and better are not the same. They are not synonymous. Bougie serves self. Better serves God.
Okay. Oh, hello. Say that again. Say what you just said again.
Bougie serves self. Better serves God.
Okay. So, okay, I gotta say this because it just on me to say. So, going back to what Jeff was saying. So, just that example he was using about Abraham and it meant to start that'll be his descendants. What if what you're tasting is not for you?
Exactly.
Because you got to think about it.
What
I
he
might,
had when
huh?
no, I'm saying now it makes sense. What he had was for generations to come.
Right. But also, sometimes we have to experience something first to then find the person that really needs that experience. But most of the time, the thing that we experience are not even for us. But if we can find the right person that matches with that, now we're connected to it. So we're a link in them seeing what they will believe. But if we never experience new things, then how can other people experience new things? So just like what Jeff was talking about with food, I'm the food person. So if I go and experience some food, I can tell you what's good or not.
Yeah.
So then I can recommend things based on stuff that I know people like.
Mhm. But the thing with that is, I won't believe that it's good until I go and experience it for myself.
Exactly. So, you got something else?
Now, I was just gonna say, yeah, I can believe you in saying that, but do I truly believe until I go and experience it?
Right.
Or better yet, I can take your word for it
Mm-hmm.
and kind of still have a little doubt in there. Like, okay, I'll take your word for it, but I doubt it. But
Mm-hmm.
until I actually go and taste it, or see it, or smell it, or
Mm-hmm.
hear it,
Mm-hmm.
then I won't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of goes with what you were saying, because yeah, if you want to know about some food, yeah, I'll let T.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let Kendra go. So, staying on that topic, well, what if we don't want to try or experience new things because we had one bad meal?
And so that kind of leads into what I was going to say. Sometimes we have to experience things for ourselves to ensure that they are safe, but it's also to help us link other people to how to overcome things.
Mm-hmm.
So us experiencing it has nothing really to do with us, because one, we're finding out that it's safe, then we can tell somebody else. But the other piece is how to tell somebody else how to overcome, that process. So you are the information because you are the data that's experienced that process already. And just like with tasting new food, you know, I forget some animals, test the food before they're young, and that allows them to know that something's, safe or right, and then they can feed their, like people say, youngins or their children.
Mm-hmm.
So the parent or has to do it first sometimes in order to deem it fit for what's going to come afterwards.
Mm-hmm. All right. So using that that's a good example. And so then, just like a mama bird does the baby birds or whatever like that. But what the mama bird does, she makes sure that anything that could hurt the baby bird is taken out of it before she gives it to them.
Yeah.
But if you think about like a cow, some people are like cow because it takes them longer to process stuff, so they got to chew stuff a lot longer. So the way we process things are different too. Some of us process things fast, and then sometimes other people need a lot more time to chew on stuff to get the full effect of it. And so that's why people's timelines are different. It's not saying that they can't grab things quicker, but they might have to then they got to chew on it for a little minute before it takes full effect. And so that could be, it's not saying that they can't believe it. It's just going to take them a while to process it until they can.
So seeing is believing, but however, everybody process on their journey is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let me ask y'all this. So what's the why is it important to have belief?
Why is it important to have belief? Because it your belief becomes your why. Because there's going to be a lot of things that happen to you in life that makes you question your existence. And whatever you believe in is kind of not necessarily your full answer, but it's a method to combat that why. I mean that why am I here question. Your belief helps to anchor you into something that would not, because life can, take you all different types of places. And whatever you believe in, that kind of helps anchor you down from the storms of life. So
Yeah.
if you're a tree, whatever you believe in, you need to anchor down into that. Because when the storm comes, like say, if all these hurricanes we've been having, if you continue to have all these storms in your life, if you don't have anything to believe in, then it's easy for you to be toppled over. And that's what life does for a lot of us. It topples us over because we don't have anything to believe in. And it's not necessarily that we're talking about from a spiritual or, like God standpoint, but it's also something that makes us want to get out the bed when we don't feel like getting out the bed.
Yeah. And so what I will say to belief helps us rely on the unseen as well as the seen. But
Mhm.
belief shows us what we shall be without seeing it.
Mm.
So I
No,
say
say
it
that
again.
again. Say it again.
Belief shows us what we shall be before
Mhm.
we see. Because belief is what we visualize, and belief could be that roadmap to get you to what you shall be.
Mhm.
Because a man with a belief or a woman with a belief or a plan, that's powerful. Because the only person that has the ability to kill your belief is you
Mhm.
by not believing and not believing that you can carry out what you see. So we can talk about the obstacles in our way, but only you can stop you.
Okay, so I got a question. And then I'm gonna let well, you want to go? You want to go, Jeff? All right.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I was gonna kind of hit on something that we talked about the other day, but go ahead.
Okay. Wait, this might wrap it up. I mean, this might tie into what you're gonna say. So I had the question of why is it easier for us to see the best in other people versus the best in ourselves?
That is a good question.
Mm.
What if? So I mean, I guess it's posing it with a question. If what if seeing the best in others is really seeing the best in us?
All right, so unpack.
So know how it. So it's always easy for us to see the best in others, but really, that God's trying to show us what's best in us, but we can't see it in the mirror. But we
Mhm.
can easily identify it in everybody else. So what we see in other people, the strengths, even the things that are shortfalls to them, those are all things that we may experience or have experienced, but we fail to connect with. So that's why we can continue to see it in other people. And then once we start believing it in ourselves, we don't get, I guess, we don't constantly come into those type of things that's trying to be revealed to us.
All right, so what you saying? It's easier for me to see the best in other people because what's the best in them is almost like a mirror for what's the best in me. And so the more
Exactly.
and more I can see the best in people, that's actually a good sign because that's a sign that now I'm understanding more and more about the best in me.
You're aware. You're seeing a glimpse of yourself. But we don't see it that way. We always pride ourselves, man, I can see the best in everybody. Well, duh, is because you're supposed to be seeing the best in you. And maybe that's why you keep seeing these patterns of people with the same, type of qualities because you don't recognize them in yourself. You don't give yourself credit for it. So
All right.
think about the things, T, that you point out in other people that you have. And Jeffrey, think about the qualities that you point out in people that you have.
Mhm.
But it's easy to believe it when you see it in them, but you
Mhm.
look at yourself every day in the mirror and don't give yourself credit for it.
Mhm.
So it go back to y'all must have forgot. Sometimes seeing is reminding you of what you have, not in your hand, but in your head and your heart.
That's good. So every time he get in the car, I'm telling you, every time he get in the car, that's what he do. That's what he do. Every time he get in
You
the
need to
car.
stop with.
Yeah, every time I knew I told before we got on, I said, here we go. It's gonna be good today in the car.
No, but it just made sense today because this is something we talk about all the time. I'm like, we always talk about how we can see the best in other people. Like, man, why we say we see the best in other people? And then this topic come up, oh, because it's for us to see the best in ourselves, but you know, we don't pay attention to self because
Mhm.
we so externally focused.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I just thought about something too because it's crazy how we have these visions for our life, but how many times do we envision ourselves in the vision?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you see just like Jeff, when you see the house, like a lot of times we focus more on that thing and we don't see ourselves in context to it. We just see that thing. We don't, we don't necessarily put ourselves in those things that we envision. We just see
Yeah.
that being a standalone thing.
Because I think with that of not seeing ourselves in the vision is because we haven't created the feeling of being in the vision. So like kind of like you were saying, yeah, I can see the house, but can I envision or can I feel the feeling of being in the house without actually going in there?
Mhm.
So sometimes you had to create the feeling first in order, you know, in order for it to come out. So maybe the reason we can't see ourselves in the vision is because we haven't created the feeling of being in the vision first.
Okay, I got something to add to it. Maybe you can't envision yourself in what you envision because you don't feel that you deserve it.
Mm.
That's a good one.
And
Because
so
go ahead.
no, I was gonna touch on them three letters, but go ahead, finish up.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna say this, you say that, and I got something for that too. All right.
Okay.
So because a lot of the things we envision, we don't believe that it's for us. We get stuck at it being a fantasy.
Mhm.
So sometimes the thing that we envision can be an escape from reality if we don't put a plan of action to it. So it's really sometimes we create these things that we envision so we can escape the feeling of not having it in reality. So it's almost kind of like what you do in a video game or whatever, and you create an avatar, a different version of yourself, and you do the thing that you really wanted to do. It's kind of the same thing that you do in your head. You'll create these fantasy worlds where you got everything and this, all that kind of stuff, so you can escape the reality that that's not what you have right now. But if it stays in your head, then you can't put action steps to it. So just the same, going back to just the thing that Jeffrey did last week. If it would have stayed in his head, it wouldn't have took him through a process. But like once you start making actions towards something, it forces you to make decisions. A lot of us don't want to make decisions. That's why we want to remain in the fantasy.
All right, so it's gonna take us back to something that we've been talking about since last week. Seeing is believing, but you got to receive it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of us don't believe it because we hadn't received it. So once you see it, so receiving is accepting what you see. So until you accept it, you can't move forward. Until you receive it, like we were talking about, sometimes somebody else has what you need. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they tell you about you. It's like T, what's Natoya that graduated the DPC program with me? What did she tell you?
Oh, it was something about I was saying something. She was like, "No, you doing good," or something like that. It was something like, "Oh, you doing well," or something to that effect. I can't remember the exact word, but yeah, it was something I said that was kind of minimizing what I do or something like that. And she was like, "Nah, I
Yeah,
don't do."
and then you had to receive what she said, and you were like, "Well, yeah, you're right."
Yeah,
So it's like we go through, and all of us have gone through moments like that in our lives where people tell us something, but we don't receive it, minimize it. It goes back to, you know, what others see in us or what we see in other people. We already have it, but we just haven't received it and accepted it. It ain't no different from when you went back to graduate school or you told me for 2 years it was time for me to go back and I didn't receive it for 2 years. Okay, three. Fine.
about
These
3 years.
3 years.
It was a long
Fine.
time. It was a long
Fine.
time. It was a long time. It was a
Fine.
long time.
I wouldn't receive it and accept it for 3 years. So it's like that. A lot of times people already see stuff and you see it, but you won't receive it and you won't accept it. Because then if you receive it and accept it, you got to take action.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
And sometimes we're afraid to take action on what we see and believe because of it may not work out how we think.
yeah. All right, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I was gonna I was gonna ask this. How can I frame it?
I'm trying to figure
Is
out how
it
you knew Jeffrey had a question.
yeah? Is it possible to all right, so like we're saying, seeing is believing. So
Mhm.
if my reality is not what I see. So is it possible for me to continuously lie to myself in order to change my reality?
Go a little deeper into your reality is not what you see.
Um,
I said go a little deeper into your reality is not what you see.
okay, so let's say it's kind of like using affirmation, right? Let's see, what's a good example? All right, so let's say I don't currently, you know what I'm saying, I don't believe I can go and play professional football. Okay.
Okay.
So what if I tell myself every day, I can play professional football. I can play professional football. You constantly, I guess what I'm trying to say, you positively lying to yourself every day. Because sometimes if you believe a lie long enough, it becomes the truth. So if I constantly tell myself that every day, I will begin to believe that I can go do it, and then it's possible that I may actually go and do it. Does that make sense?
If you got something, Kenny, you go. If not, I got a way to frame it.
Yeah.
You go first because what I wrote down was 3 P's. So, but I'm gonna let you go because I don't know if the 3 P's that I was gonna say. I say the 3 P's and then I'm shut up. So I wrote down prayer life, practice life, purpose life. All right, go to you.
All right. So I'm gonna say, what if the definition of lie is different? So you talking about lie as it is and talking about lying. Mm-hmm. What if lie was like the noun version of lie is more about your direction and perspective? So it's not a lie, it's lying if you know your position and the right perspective. So if you're saying them affirmations, it's not a lie. You lying to yourself till it becomes true. You know your position and your perspective, and you have the correct one. So you saying that is more confirmation than a lie, because it's already who you are. You're just going through the process of getting to that. So the thing is not the thing that makes it true. It becomes true when you accept that's your path. So me getting a doctorate degree didn't make me a doctor. I was there before I even did it. That was just confirmation of what I already was going to be.
Mm-hmm. So it's good that you said that. So that brings up another example that I told you I was going to mention. Mm-hmm. Earlier this year, Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, mm-hmm. he was being interviewed. I think it was around the time of the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if the guy asked him, okay, so what's next, for Deion? And he was like, I'm going to be a college football coach this season. Mm-hmm. And the guy was like, do you have never coached college football or whatever, He laid him out. I believe it.
Mm-hmm. So okay, but I got something. You got something else, or you that was a pause?
No, I was gonna say, like you said, it was that it probably one of them things that he believed it a long time ago, and now it just finally came to fruition.
All right. So background to that. So while he said that, in the background, what he was doing was meeting with people that was preparing him for that. So he had went on a couple of interviews. He had did a couple of interviews with some more major schools, like Division I schools and stuff. He didn't get those, but it was practice. So he had people that prepared him for this. So even though he said it, he was doing preparation for that too, behind the scenes. And so a lot of the other things he did, because he went on and got his degree from, I think it was like it was an HBCU, I think in Florida or something like that. That was part of the prerequisite to being a coach. So behind the scenes, he was lining up all this stuff to get to this point. So everybody think like, oh, this was just a random thing. No, he been working on this for a while. So he can say, I believe I'm gonna be a coach, because he was working on it the whole time. And that's
I'm gonna put you on a pause, T. So he was shifting.
He was shifting. So he made decision, and then he was getting in alignment by the things he was doing behind the scenes. So that's what people need to realize. You speaking it into existence will not exist until you act on it. And that it might not be at the full completion, but you need to be doing things that get you in alignment to the thing that you speaking. Because if not, you just saying stuff that's just going into the air.
Yeah. But that's another good example of what we talked about: awareness, shift, alignment, and community. The community was the council of people that were getting him prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked because he got hired.
Right.
And what he's gonna bring and what his name is gonna bring is gonna do more for others than it's gonna do for himself.
Right.
So you see how your purpose is not for you, it's
Mm-hmm.
for others.
Mm-hmm.
So Deion Sanders is a Hall of Fame, DB. I mean, you don't get no better than that. So what his purpose is going to do more for the people and area around him than it's going to do for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it never would have happened if he wouldn't prepare himself for that.
Never would have happened prepared.
All right. So basically, what you're saying is going back through the principles.
Mm-hmm.
He became aware that
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to be a head coach on the college
Mm-hmm.
level.
Mm-hmm.
And so the shift was, okay, I want to do this. So now I'm going to start the process
Mm-hmm.
of becoming a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
He got in alignment. He started doing the things that he needed to do, lining everything up.
Right.
To become the head coach that he
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be. And like I said, community piece, he get talking to people, gathering up resources and all that kind of stuff in order to make it happen. So, so basically, so to kind of tie it all together, anything that you want, anything that you believe in that you want, you had to become aware first that you want it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now you have to make a decision that you're going to go after whatever it is that you believe.
Right.
So now every day you got to do something to lead you to that destination.
Yeah.
And then you got to surround yourself with the resources and the people to do it. So like, okay, I became aware, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. All right. I'm aware of that. So now I got to make a decision. Okay, so I'm making a decision. I'm gonna get up every morning and work out.
Mm-hmm.
So now the alignment, every day I got to get up, I got to eat better, got to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Then surround myself with the right resources to know what to eat, what workouts to do,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. So that's how we can work through all of that. So
look,
but then I'll add this. Let me add this real quick, and then I'm gonna jump back out.
Okay.
So Deion's purpose wasn't to be a coach. His purpose was to give more.
Mm-hmm.
Coach was a platform that allowed him to serve and give more. But he was aware that he wanted to give more. Coach is just a platform that plays out how he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm done.
All right. So what I was gonna tell Jeffrey, I said, David, that's what he do too. So if you need some workout stuff, he can he do that too. So that can be part of your community. But and it was something else. I guess we're getting ready to close, but I guess everybody kind of close out. But there's something I wanted to show on screen that's for Jeffrey too. So while y'all go around, I'm gonna get what I'm gonna get, and then I'm gonna show it on camera. So y'all go ahead, and I'll be the last one.
Nah, I'm good. I don't have anything else to say. I'll let Jeffrey wrap it up.
Well, it just, like we said, the inspiration from this just came from, something we talked about last week. So, it just, in order to, believe, I said the things that you want, sometimes you just got to go out and see it and experience it and get that feeling, and just do the work to make it happen. So, yeah, you can achieve anything that you believe. So, hey, just go out and experience it first, and then get that feeling, and it'll come to pass.
All right. Can you say you ain't have nothing?
No, I ain't have nothing.
All right. Look, Jeffrey, you were talking about cologne. I don't know if this the one you were getting talking about, but this is what you need to get. You see that right there?
Huh? Oh, yeah, that one man, that Paco Rabanne or whatever it's called.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I'm gonna show you. Hold on for you, cause I'm gonna see if I can find it right quick. I'm gonna show you what you need food with, man.
Okay.
It'll bless your life, man.
Well, I'm all for stuff that's gonna bless my life.
See, I can only get the samples right now, but yeah, get you some of that right there.
What is that?
See there, see you gotta experience it, man.
Baccarat?
Yeah, Baccarat Rouge. Hey,
I don't know nothing about that. Look, and I used to know about you. I don't know nothing about that.
Hey,
I don't know nothing about that either.
Look, get you some of this right here. Look, okay, we'll talk about it off air. Get you some of this right here, and I promise you will not go back to $75 bottles of cologne. Trust me.
Okay.
All right. Well, Jerry, don't close out.
All right, we do need to make an announcement. So we got two announcements. So one, we have officially started our first intern. So we're excited about that. You probably will be able to see him join us maybe Monday, but we'll do a post about that. And also, me and Kendrick just went through a training today, and so we are getting closer to what we call now our life labs. So we will be doing two of those, and that should be open sometime in November. We're gonna do 5-week kind of run pilot testing of that for a more expanded launch in January. So those of you in Take the Journey, y'all will know, y'all know about it before everybody else knows about it. And we will let y'all know how you can sign up for it and the pricing. And we will do some kind of discount pricing for you all, because y'all Take Journey group. We appreciate it. So look forward to that. And you will hear more information about that. We'll probably be running some ads during the lives about that too. So we're excited about that. And then we got whole lot more stuff coming down the pipeline that you will be hearing about shortly. But we just wanted to mention those two, because those are things that are real big things for us, and we want you to be a part of it too. So yeah, so I guess that was my last thing. So I ain't had nothing profound. Right. Y'all understand all the profound stuff today.
Well,
that's all, Voyager.
Now I'll just leave with this. If there's something right now that you believing for and you haven't went and experienced it yet, take the time out this weekend to go and experience it. If you believing for a new house, new car, hey, whatever, go feel it, go touch it, go smell it, experience it. So that's y'all homework for the weekend.
And as always, we'll continue to see you on Mondays and Thursdays, and we'll continue to update you with good information. So until next week, be blessed.
All right.
All right. Have a good one.